Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a very good evening to you. This is Newsline on location, this time around on the streets of Kandy, the historical and World Heritage City in Sri Lanka, where once again we find that the people's power are continuing to protest, as we say, all over the country. Kandy has been no different, and Kandy is also a place, a city in Sri Lanka which attracts any number of tourists who ensure that Kandy is a must-visit place. There are perhaps not as much crowds as there is in Colombo, but there is a fair number here. So let's see, let's find out what the people of Kandy have to say as to why they are protesting and exactly what are they protesting against and what they hope to achieve, what kind of change they hope to achieve. Let's find out here. Hello there, it's Newsfirst, Newsline. We're not live, but we're on location here, right here in Kandy. Can I ask you, sir, why are you here? What prompts you to protest? If you like, you can tell me your name.
Yeah, I'm Achala Arunalu. I've been tree planting, like planting about 100,000 trees with my friends for the past 6 years all over the country. I'm a software engineer. I work in technology. So this is a social work me and my friends have started in 2015. So all this time we've seen around the country how people are very poor and suffering, while the politicians tell huge lies and steal their welfare, steal the money that should go to the people. And this has prompted me to stand up for everyone, and that's why I'm here today also. I started protesting on December 21st last year in 2021 by cycling from Kandy to Polonnaruwa with a friend with some flex banners and sharing stickers, asking people to stand up for their rights and asking them to not forget their civic duty after the vote. Like right now, all these millions of people are standing up for their civic rights. So that's why I'm here also, to be one of those millions of people to say this is enough. We need to change the system and get the people their due fundamental rights and the quality of life we all deserve.
And Archana, can I ask you this? We've seen since the protest started, obviously people's power appears to have made some sort of change, but despite the goings-on at the House of Parliament and members of Parliament trying to sort out governance, I can't help notice that the fuel queues, the queues for fuel, for petrol, for diesel, has not abated. My 83-year-old aunt told me that she was forced to start cooking using kerosene. But a few days ago, she told me that too. And so she's now reduced to cooking whenever the power is on a single stove. At 83, I think she's finding it difficult. What do you have to say about the non-availability or the very reduced availability of fuel?
I think your aunt was very correct. We are all suffering the same way. So this is only going to get worse because we don't have foreign currency to get these necessities down, because we don't produce, we don't pull up oil from our ground. So we definitely need to bring it imported, like gas and fuel like petrol or kerosene. So without solving the balance of payment issue, this is not going to go away. And if you look at examples like Haiti or Venezuela or Lebanon, where this has progressed before this has happened to us, that example should raise a lot of us out of your comfort zones onto the streets today, because it doesn't appear that the 225 plus 1 are doing anything about it. They are just shifting their heads here and there. They are sending people like Ali Sabri to the IMF, who's coming from a legal background. He's not an economist by profession. How can such people negotiate terms that benefit the country? And how do we renegotiate our debt and get credit, because we are not going to produce anything right now. My friends have manufacturing companies which are shutting down because they don't get the raw material they need to produce and to pay their salaries, the workers their salaries. So this supply chain is breaking down. So I think these gas queues, these shortages of basic necessities like medicine is going to kill a lot of people. It's already killing people. So we should really be scared and stand up, because we are anyway going to die, right? Why die pointlessly in a room if we can die for everyone else and peacefully, especially? We can't go into a violent uprising. So the 225 would definitely like to bring the armed forces and thwart our efforts. So I think that's why all of us are here, because a lot of people now understand this is not about left-wing politics or right-wing politics. It's about money, it's about quality of life, and that's the middle path. It's about
the middle path.
Yeah.
And for a country that is largely Buddhist, that should be a fundamental principle, easy for the public to understand.
Exactly. I think you're going into an area of controversy. The religious mafia in the country. I'm also Buddhist by birth, but I definitely don't go and bow down to these priests who live luxurious lives and get the poor people to give that money to them. They get the votes of these poor people by standing with these corrupt politicians. I think that culture will now certainly shift as more and more people become aware of who these people really are.
And as we have noticed, the crowds are devoid of any communalism or partisanship, and that is exactly what Archula just told us. And when he spoke about unity and so on, let's find out. Here's a young lady here who might want to say something. Hello, good evening. This is Newsline Live. Well, not live today. We're on location in Kandy, and we are, of course, the People's Channel, and very proudly so. So you tell me, please, why are you here?
I'm Kanchuka. I'm here because Sri Lanka is in a state that it has never been before. You find so many people who are going hungry, people are starving, and I think this is something that we have not witnessed or encountered before. And also for the first time, maybe not for the first time, in a sense, so many people are gathering into public spaces and protesting, not just in Colombo, in so many areas, in Kandy, Anuradhapura, Polonam, all over the country. And it's such a significant moment where people are finally letting the rulers or those in power hear their voices. So I want to be a part of that movement where people are, in a sense, reclaiming public spaces and letting their voices be heard, and talking about all of these oppressive systems that have oppressed them so far and which continue to oppress them economically, politically, culturally, in all ways.
Do you feel that successive governments in Sri Lanka have failed to deliver the people's spirit, the people's need for education, for housing, for opportunity? Do you feel that since independence they've failed?
I think there were attempts, especially by certain governments, to bring about policies of education, public education, health and transport, and some governments have succeeded more than others. But I think with in 1978, with the introduction of the open economy, things have really taken a different turn, and everything has been so much focused on the market that the lives of the people have been secondary. So what has been happening is that the governments have been creating spaces that is conducive for commerce and economics and people's welfare, including education, health, transport, that has been going to the margins as much as possible. And I think right now what is happening is that you see that those rights stripped away more than before, and including the right for food.
Right for food. Thank you very much for being on the People's Channel, News First. This is Newsline. Location, Kandy. On the streets of Kandy once again. we've been attacked by the enemy, and the enemy seems to be the Kaputas out there, and so we're sort of sheltering away from there. Let's go on the mic. But as you can see, there's a lot of debris on the pavements there, thanks to the Kaputas. So let's see. The principal Kaputa, of course, is not here, but let's see. Sir, Newsline on location in Kandy. Would you like to tell us why you're here?
Yes, for us, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm Madhuranga from Peradeniya. I'm here to be, obviously, there are many problems in the country. People like us are suffering throughout the country. There are people coming from all walks of life who have joined these protests, and everyone has been affected in some way, and that's why you find people on the streets. But in addition to that, I think I'm also here to experience the moment. This is an unprecedented moment in Sri Lankan history, because it's very clear that a substantial number of people, I don't say everyone, but a substantial number of people have woken up to the realization that there is a problem. There has been a problem in our society for a long time, but things have been under control. But now we have hit a point where we can't move forward as a society.
And so, do you think that you detect that Sri Lanka is on the cusp of change? You refer to it as a historical moment. Do you sense that history is in the making right now?
I do. I really believe that history is in the making, and I'm really glad that I'm witnessing it firsthand. Because in addition to the tangible, visible kind of change that you see, like this is a struggle, but obviously if you turn this way, people are getting together, singing, having fun, enjoying a song. So this is not a struggle in the traditional sense of the term, but still this has a major impact. This has attracted a lot of attention. People are talking about this struggle more than any other struggle in Sri Lankan history. So I think this is, as I said before, this is not a struggle in the traditional sense of the term. We are experiencing something new, something creative, something novel. We still don't know what the outcome of this whole thing is going to be. We sincerely hope that it's going to be a positive one. But I really see hope, because there's a lot of change happening within people. People might say now, initially there was a large crowd, but now people are losing interest. We don't see as many people at protests. But I strongly believe that what started on April 3rd, it has affected a lot of change internally. Like there are certain core changes that this whole movement has affected. So even if they are not coming to the streets, even if they are not being vocal about what they want, the kind of change they want, I think there's a lot of change that has already happened within us. And that will definitely lead to some tangible change in the future. I'm positive.
Thank you very much for being on Newsline on location here in the historical city of Kandy. We're going to go for a short break in a moment, but like you say, we found these rather young people also playing music, but standing by here as part of their protest. This is not a party, but this is a passion. This is a passion, a call for change, as some of these people behind me will hopefully tell us as to why they're here. It's now time to take a peek at this evening's headline news from the wonderful Newsfirst primetime news team. We'll see you on the other side of the break, shall we?
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
Eid celebrations at GotaGoGama. When will the fuel queues end? Farmers' issues back to the fore. Lorachole breaks down again. Bhikkhu Association of the Inter-University Students Federation marches to the President's residence. Emergency aid from China. Will the Prime Minister resign? What will happen to the motion of no confidence?
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz.
And welcome back to Newsline on location in the historical city, the heritage city of Kandy, up in the hills of beautiful Sri Lanka. Of course, I'm reporting for Newsline on location, which is, of course, part of TV1, the People's Channel, part of the Capital Maharaja Media stables. Sir, if you like, you can tell me your name and you can tell me why you're here. Why do you deem it fit to be standing on the streets, the pavements of Kandy?
Really, I'm here because I'm from the hotel industry, and we are going through a terrible time, and we need a change. So that the hotel industry has not, after the Easter bombing blast and also with the COVID, we are not able to raise our heads, and also the government has not made any contribution for us to keep us afloat. Really, even during the COVID time, there was no any funds or anything put into the industry for us to sustain and be afloat, but we have mortgaged our assets and all that to keep our employees, pay them, keep their families growing. So it has been a real Hercules task, and I think we all need a change, because if not, this country is going to sink. And this country is such a beautiful country which has a lot of opportunities, but I think opportunities were never nobody could have done anything in this country because of the corruption and the takings and all that. So that's one reason I think this country is not developing, and I think still no one knows what the real economic status of this country and what we are heading for. So I think we should all stand up and go for a change. If not, it's going to be a disaster very soon. And
do you think it's a disaster, sir, that we will never recover from unless we make that change now?
Certainly, if we do not make a change soon, there's going to be a big disaster in this country, and I don't know how we are going to raise up again to come back to normalcy. But I don't know where we stand at the moment, but I hope and pray that something will happen and there'll be a change. And even the government should pull up their socks and see what they can do at the moment and see how they can bring life back to normal, because people are suffering. I know families that when they go to the market, they buy 250 grams of rice for their daily meal. So that is the status of the country at this moment. So we should all get together and see that change taking place. And also the government should understand that the 224 have been publicly executed by the people of the country, but that's still not moving off. I can't understand, as they don't have any credibility or anything that they should look into and move out. I don't know what to say anymore.
And sir, would you think that the way forward, for the moment at least, is to have elections? Is that what you feel?
Well, I think elections should take place, but are we in a state to have elections? So
in that context, would you welcome an interim national government?
Certainly at this moment, because I think even the country is, even to fund the election, I don't think we'll have enough funds. That's what I feel. But I have very strong feeling if there's a change, I think even aid will start flowing into the country. That's one strong belief I have.
So are you alluding to this possibility that there is an international trust deficit in the government of Sri Lanka?
Definitely. If the international, that's what I said, if they step down, the trust will be definitely strong and there will be aid flowing in. I'm sure about that.
And as a hotelier from the heritage city of Kandy, up in the beautiful hills of our country, have you seen a marked downturn in your trade?
Yes. Our industry could never raise our head due to the various problems that took place, and I'm sure it is one industry that contributes a lot to the GDP of the country. And it was said by a certain governor that the tourist industry does not contribute GDP to a country, but I think it contributes. I think it's number 2 on the list, contributing a GDP to the country.
And are you hopeful that at the moment the government is talking about interim governments, national governments, Prime Minister to step down, the President to step down? Do you feel that all these sort of maneuvers are merely a sort of sidetracking device?
Yes, that's that. I was just discussing with another gentleman over here that these are all just temporary measures that are taking place. I mean, taking a loan from here, taking a loan from there is not going to solve the situation in the country right at this junction. So I think we need a permanent solution to the country. That's when we can all rise and be normal again.
Thank you very much. So is there absolutely anything that you want to say to the 225 plus one out there in terms of the people's social distress that we are all experiencing?
Yeah, I think I should say 224. I mean, they should all step down. And there's one message I want to give to the new voter and the voters, that hereafter, please vote for a person who can run a ministry, not a sweep ticket seller to run the Ministry of Education, so on. So I think we should all have educated people to run a ministry, not people who have no experience. I mean, it's very very clear that you need for anything experience, a person with professional knowledge to run a ministry. But that is where Sri Lanka has gone wrong for the last couple of years, and that is why we are in this state today.
Thank you very much. This is TV1 Newsline on location in Kandy, the historical and the heritage city of Kandy. Let's find out from a few more people as to why they feel that they've come here to spend their time. Sir, be seated. This is TV1 Newsline on location right here in Kandy. Why are you here today?
Actually, during childhood, we protested against our parents to get our rights. So later on, when we were in the campus, we started protesting about against our own problems. For example, when Veera Surya was shot in Peradeniya University, we protested against that. Now today, actually, the younger generation they are protesting against the ruling regime, not for their own problems like we did in the past, but they are protesting against the whole system, the whole regime. So I feel that I should. In this age, I should support them in my capacity. That is why I came here today to participate in this protest.
Sir, what change do you want straight away? What is the change that you want?
Immediately this ruling has to be, rulers must go away, go home.
Can you be specific? What do you mean by the rulers? 1, 2, all 20 to 25, who?
Not all 225. Actually, those who have ruined this country, they must be knowing what they have done to our country. So if they are real gentlemen, I don't say they are gentlemen, if they at least think impartially at this time, they should go away, giving this chance to the other people.
And do you think it's a good idea for the Prime Minister to step down? Or is it a better idea for if the President was to step down? Or the third option would be for them both to step down? What do you think?
I think the Prime Minister should step down first. I personally feel that although the President is not the best President we need at the moment, he should be there until they form an interim government, and I feel that the first change they should do is the change of the constitution. So to do that, the parliament should be there, and they must change the constitution according to the way the people want, not the way they want. And later on, I think he also should step down.
Thank you very much for your time on Newsline on location for TV1. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we are in the historical city of Kandy, a World Heritage city, actually. And unfortunately, Kandy appears to have seen much better days. We've been here at this sort of time. Kandy is hustling and bustling with tourists and local people. But sadly, it's all come down. But nevertheless, there is a constant stream of people who are committed to this protest and committed to the change that the people of Sri Lanka want. Let's find out, perhaps from somebody else, if they'd like to say something. මෙතෙන්ට ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ.
මම විශේෂයෙන් කවුරුත් එන්න කියපු නිසාව නෙවෙයි මේ රටේ තියෙන විශාල අර්බුදයක් පැනලා ගිලා තිනවා මේ අර්බුදය විසින් තමයි මම මෙතෙන්ට කැඳවලා තියෙන්නේ.
මොකද්ද මේ සර් හිතන්නේ මේ ප්‍රොටෙස්ට් එකෙන් මොකද්ද වෙන්න කැමති ඔයාගේ අදහස මොකද්ද?
මගේ අදහස මේමයි මෙතෙක් කල් අපේ ජනතාව අතේ තිබ්බ පරමාධිපත්‍ය කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක ඡන්ද කාලේ විතරක් ජනතාව අතට පත් කරලා එතනින් පස්සේ බලයටවත් වෙන හැම කෙනෙක්ම ඒ ජනතාව අතේ තියෙන පරමාධිපත්‍ය බලයක් කරගෙන රටට ඇවිල්ලා ජනතාව අමතක කරලා ගෙනිච්ච විශාල වැඩසටහනක ප්‍රතිඵලයක් තමයි මේ දකින්න තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා අද මේ මොහොත වෙනකොට මම ඊටාම ආඩම්බර වෙනවා. ජනතාව විසින් තෝරාගෙන තියෙනවා මේ පරමාධිපත්‍ය කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? ඒකේ බලය කොතන තියෙන්නේ කියන එක තේරුම් අරගෙන අද ජනතාව මේ මෙතෙක් කල 74 වසරක් තිස්සේ සිද්ධ වෙච්ච වැරදි ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වලට එරෙහිව රට පුරාවට නැගී හිටමින් ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්ක පරමාධිපත්‍ය හඳුනාගත්ත ජනතාවක් එළියට ආපුවා එන එකත් එක්ක මම ඊටාම ආඩම්බර වෙනවා. හෙට දවස ජනතාවගේ දවසක් බවට පත් වෙනයි කියලා.
සර්ට ආඩම්බරයිද අපේ තරුණ කට්ටිය මේ වගේ මුළු රටම මේ කොළඹ විතරක් නෙවෙයි නුවර විතරක් නෙවෙයි මුළු රටම පිරීලා තියෙනවා මේ අපේ තරුණ කට්ටිය. මේ සර්ට ඒ ගැන ආඩම්බරයිද?
අනිවාර්ය ආඩම්බරයක් තියෙනවා. මොකද ඉතින් අපේ ලංකාවේ ඉතිහාසය ගත්තාම මුල්ම කාලවකවානුව තුල වැඩිහිටියෝ තමයි අරගල කරලා තිබුණේ. ඊට පස්සේ මැද කාලයක තුල තරුණයෝ විතරයි අරගල කරලා තිබුණේ. දැන් අද වෙනකොට තියෙනවා වැඩිහිටියන්ගේ ආශිර්වාද මත තරුණ පරම්පරාව. ඒ කියන්නේ 88 89 වකවානුව තුල හිටපු තරුණ පරම්පරාවක් නෙවෙයි අද ඉන්නේ. අද ඊට වඩා දියුණු තාක්ෂණයෙන් දියුණු වෙච්ච දැනුමින් දියුණු වෙච්ච ඉවසීම අපටත් වඩා තියෙන තරුණ පරම්පරාවක් තමයි ඉන්නේ. ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මේ රටේ බලය අත්පත් කරගත්ත යුත්තේ තරුණ පරම්පරාවමයි. ඒක නිසා මට මහා ආඩම්බරයක් තියෙනවා මේ තරුණ පරපුර ඉස්සරහට අවිල්ලා තියෙන එක. ඒකෙත් තියෙනවා ඉතිහාස පේන්න තියෙන අනාගතයේ ලොකු ජයග්‍රහණයක් අපි වෙත පිරිනැමෙන බව.
Boma Stuti, thank you very much. And this is Newsline of Kandy. Perhaps I can, we've got a few more minutes, and I can ask the person who declared himself to be a hotelier for a final count. Let's have a look, either in English or in Sinhalese or in Tamil. Tell me, why are you here?
Yeah, I'm here for my country. So first of all, I would like to tell something about my country. My country is a beautiful country, but so some politicians came to our country and politics also very bad. So
what about the shortages of petrol, diesel, gas, food? What do you say about that?
Yeah, that's something was because of in those days petrol, foods and lot of things prices very increases, and that's the thing I have to tell.
Are you happy with this government, or do you want to change?
No, exactly no.
So you're not happy?
No, not happy because of we also trying to live in this country.
And sir, do you want to see President GotaGoGama resign? Do you want to see the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa resign, or do you want to see just one or two or all of them?
All of them. 225.
All 225?
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is you want elections?
Sorry?
You want to have elections now?
Yeah. Exactly. These all are
all of you?
yeah.
Shall we ask them? Hi, this is TV1 for Newsline. Tell me, sir, why are you here, and why aren't you at home playing your music? Why are you standing here on the pavements of Kandy?
Well, actually, we are here because of our corrupted government, and we just want them to resign. And as far as I'm concerned, they just need to bounce ideas of general public, and so we are asking them to resign. So that's all we want. Yes.
So you're absolutely sure you want all of them, or just the majority party?
Well, actually, the majority party, because they are the mostly corrupted people. So we just want them to give them we just want to give them a message that if we are going to corrupt again, that and we are going to come up against them.
So what you're saying is, if they don't change their ways, you're going to come out and start protesting again?
Absolutely. Why not? Because this is our country and our nation, so we are united people.
And what do you say about the shortages of fuel, gas, medicine, and the increasing prices? What do you say about all that?
Well, it's mostly because our governments actually wasted our money, our foreign dollars and foreign currency, and due to that we face some higher inflation, and so we just want them to give some solutions, and at the same time we just need our president to resign.
So recently I've read reports that Sri Lanka has got donations of rice from China. It's about only about 5,000 metric tons. I had reports that Indonesia is sending us something. India is helping out. Do you, as a Sri Lankan, do you feel ashamed that we are at the receiving end of charity?
Well, actually, we are very ashamed, because we were self-sufficient with food and everything, but now we are just gonna beg for rice and for food, for dal from India, for rice from Thailand, China, and every country. So we just feel like we are beggars. So we just need to be some compelling nation again.
Thank you very much for being on TV1. And as we come to the end of this program from the historical and the heritage city of Kandy, this is Newsline on location from Kandy, and it's now time for the primetime news from News First. Take care, and as I always say to you, all